way better. Hey, way to go, Techie. Way to bring it back. And we have right now bringing in the one of the greatest running analysts in the history of analyzing running. One of my dear friends, always, and a huge supporter of what we do, and we are always a fan of what he does. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Sipe joins us. What's up, Sipe?
Hey, nothing much, guys. What's happening today?
A little bit different background today, man. I like it.
Hey, from the homestead. What can you do?
A little cash. I like it. We're not going to hear any school bells today.
No school bells, and my kids are all swim practicing, getting ready for their first meet tonight. So I have the house to myself, and a very, very extensive track season's over. Here's the honey-do list. So I'll be busy on that the rest of the day until the swim meet tonight.
I get that.
All good stuff, though. Yeah.
You talked about the very long track season has come to a close, and as someone who I think appreciates the local regional talent more than most, how do you think it went? Just, general question, loaded question, I guess, but for you, compared to seasons past, how did it go for us?
We showed up. We one of the big conversations our staff had when we were down at the meet. Win, lose, or draw, we always go down just to see the best of the best. And the resonating idea was our region in terms of Division 1, 2, and 3, and our kids locally, they really showed up at the track meet. We had a handful of state champions. Ethan Bosch from Chalker, he was the 100-meter state champion in D3. Drew was the state champ. And I'll tell you what, I showed up hot from the girls softball game, and we came off a loss there. So, I drove from Akron to Columbus in silence, and I got there just in time to see the finals for the D3 boys discus. And that is how I started my state track meet this year. So watching Drew do what he did, it was absolutely incredible. So, I could go on about that one, but it was absolutely incredible. That was a good way to start the weekend for me down there. And again, the local kids, we shelled out. We had a podium finish in every single division, and some of the best that Anthony and I have talked about the entire year. They got down there and they did their thing. So it was fun.
You texted me about how Drew kind of got this accomplished and that what he kind of had to do to get this throw off. You were about 7 feet away from it. We'll ask Drew about it too, but can you describe it from your perspective on how he exactly pulled off this last state championship throw?
Well, after we interviewed those guys last year, I really liked what the McDonald throwers were cooking down there. So I've been following them exclusively. all the coaches from McDonald are great guys, great gals over there. So, it's fun just to watch what those guys are doing. And so it's a nice setting because you get to be right on top of the cage. And I sat down with the rest of my staff and our throwers that were down there, and we sat seriously 7 to 8 feet from the ring. And Drew was in third when the whole thing started, like the final started, and he went for it on his first throw, but he fouled. Second throw, I don't know if he got enough on it. He can tell you guys about that one, but it didn't go where it needed to go. And then his third throw, he spun as fast as I've seen a kid spin, and he just screamed and let this thing fly. He let it go so fast and so hard that he was just hopping and hopping and hopping and hopping on one foot. I'm like, my jaw's wide open. I'm like, oh my God, please stick this, save this. He saves it, and he throws an absolute nuke at the same time. They're like I think it was 178, and that was enough to push him from third to first. Oh my gosh, I had even right now, the hair on my arms is standing up. I'm so excited. And I don't.
Let's go.
I was so well. Again, you take pride in stuff. It's not like rivals and stuff like that. It's an art. It's an underappreciated sport, to be honest with you. And to see somebody in that moment, how excited he got, that's the thing. As a kid, you're out in the driveway shooting hoops. 3, 2, 1, Kobe, and he did it. That's his life. That's his life story forever now. And he gets to do it again next year. He's only a junior, so good for him. That's amazing. every coach, every kid, they all want that kind of stuff, and it happened. He lived it. It was amazing. It was like the pick me up I needed in that moment. I saw Coach Lou right after that. I gave him a hug and said, "Yo, dude, that was amazing." I mean, and you could tell just like in Dimitrovich's eyes, like that was it. That was what he needed to. He was like tearing up. I mean, that's what it's about. You're passionate about the sport, and you captured something amazing, and that was it. He did it at the highest level as you possibly can be. And like I said, he gets to come back and do it again next year. So can't be more excited for those guys.
I don't know if we can roll out a better intro than that, but I think it's time we bring these two on because they are coming to us live from vacation in South Carolina. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, from McDonald, you may see him as Thor at this point, given the story of Coach Sipe. Ladies and gentlemen, a couple of Blue Devils, a couple of Lovebirds, Juliana Crumpack, and Drew Zajac. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for look, and you get the wow worthy. Drew, you're backstage and you're hearing that. I mean, we've got goosebumps. I wasn't even there, but the storytelling of Coach Sipe gets me all fired up. What was it like for you to be in that ring? Was that pretty much on par for what you were going through?
Well, it was a hard week before. I didn't really get in any throws that whole week until like Thursday. I was nursing a pretty bad back injury, and I still am. But, just had to stay patient, had to stay focused, had to stay humble and hungry. And sure enough, it paid off. And I'm just super, super blessed to be number one in the state. But I just got to stay hungry.
You were down to your last throw like Coach Sipe. It was throw number 3. You had to have it. Talk about what's going through your mind as you're trying to hop on one foot to secure that save and do whatever it takes to make sure that throw counts.
Well, going from, prelims and then finals, I was just like my body was just completely torn up from shot, and then the prelims a disc, and I was just like, talked to Coach Mary. I'm like, I know I can do it. And I had ice on my back. I'm like, I got to do this. And, first throw I had, it wasn't good enough. And then second throw, I pushed through the ring pretty hard and then tumbled at the front. And then third throw, I looked at it before I got in the ring, and I'm like, this is it. And I released it and did like a little ballerina and got out the back of the ring, and that's all that matters.
Little ballerina. I like that.
Drew, that was awesome. Drew, that was amazing. I was like, seriously, I was like right to the left of the ring. Like I could have reached out and grabbed you if I needed to prop you up there as you were going down. But I was like frozen in the moment. I'm like, please stick this. And you saved it, dude. That was amazing. I could tell when final started, you were just going for it. Cause I mean, I can't remember where the kid was from that was leading at the time, but that's out there. And I know you went for it in the first one. And then, like I said, that's a storybook ending. And again, it's your story for life now on like the situation, all that stuff. It was amazing. Couldn't be more happy for you, man. That was amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And then plus to top it all off, like third place, it's an accomplishment, but you also helped secure a state championship for your team as well. That foot doesn't come down. You don't get to the 31 that you guys had to win it. And I mean, everything, just like the alignment of like the stars in that case, was just one of those deals for McDonald to go down in history for the state now.
Yeah. Well, obviously the good Lord has blessed us with a lot of good athletes, and I'm just so blessed. And, a lot of prayers went into, the finals and everything. And this whole entire season, it's just been a dogfight for our team. And I'm just super blessed to be a tiny little part of the team that I'm a part of. And, I just couldn't be more happy for all my teammates and what they've accomplished, and just to be a tiny piece of it all.
And you guys had like a little cult following down there too. There had to have been 40 or 50 people watching that discus event for the McDonald Blue Devils there. That was amazing. Like, and the vibes of the state meet you just can't beat, and you can't simulate it throughout the whole season. I mean, regionals are big, but there's absolutely nothing like going to Columbus and being in that venue, Jesse Owens Historic Stadium there, and just getting it done the way you guys did. It was awesome. I'm like all pumped up, and I'm like, you know what? Trumbull County people got to stick together. So there you go. I'm a McDonald fan for life. There you go.
Yeah, McDonald people, I guess, travel pretty well.
Absolutely.
Travel
You know,
pretty well,
you have,
especially for track.
yeah, you guys have had tradition ever since. I mean, I even remember back in the '90s when I was an athlete as well. I mean, McDonald always has had a great program. So, you know, tip of the hat to you guys. You got it done.
Thank you.
Juliana, from your perspective, you are also on the podium a couple times, right? So talk to us about your experience and again, that McDonald following down in Columbus.
So 2 years ago, me and some of my teammates made it in the same events, the 4x8 and the 4x4, but we didn't leave a mark like we wanted to. So coming back this year was like really big for us, and we wanted to really show what we could do. So we were able to do that and made it on the podium, and it was a great feeling. So, yeah.
I mean, that's a heck of a double too. 4x4, 4x8. I mean, you got to come back on two of the three worst races in high school, taking out the 300 hurdles there. But I mean, that's a tough day. It's hard on your body, especially at that point in the season. You know, you're tapered off. Everything's about speed and just competing at that point. So it's amazing to get a 4x8 and a 4x4 on the podium there. And again, you have to do it twice. The 4x4, you got to do it Friday and then come back on Saturday morning and do the same thing.
How much, I guess, a big question I have is when you get that far and you've been doing this all season long, how much is left in the tank and how much is just adrenaline taking over in those last moments? That question's for both of you.
I mean, from me at least, I think it takes over a lot. I think for my relay, especially like competing, like just as like a team and like competing against like the different athletes, like it helps so much. And just knowing like you're doing it for your coaches and for yourself and for each other is just like huge. So it just makes you want to keep going.
And, you know, for me, you know, last year at state, it was me and a couple of two other people of my friends. We made a promise to each other that we were going to do everything that we could possibly do for each other to stand on the top of the podium as a team. And, when shot put didn't go my way, I just wanted to sneak in, maybe get 2 points, and then disc, I went back in our tent and I told some of my other teammates, I'm like, I got to win this for you guys. And sure enough, the good Lord blessed me with the first place, but, just not wanting to let them down, everyone's body hurts, it's just kind of like, if it's like bad weather, the bad weather's affecting everybody, not just yourself. So, you got to think of it like that and kind of have to humble yourself and do it for your teammates.
Juliana, it's a long track season, and we're talking about, everyone's body hurts at the end of this because it's such a grueling way. You got to go through districts, got to go through regionals just to get to this point. Talk about kind of as reflection, like how it was getting through this season and what it was like to kind of grind through the whole year and to put yourself in this position in the last week of it.
It truly was so much fun going through every meet and every workout, just knowing that you have like your teammates to bring you confidence when you need it and just always being there for you. It makes it just so much easier just having your team there. So I feel like for McDonald especially, like having a core group of kids who like really care about what they do and just are strong and passionate about it really helps get the job done and carries throughout all the year.
Yeah, and a lot of the big competition too in D3, you guys got to see early on because D3 distance running, mid distance running, it's kind of like Northeast Ohio Central for that case. So you got to see the Smithville kids in the regional meet. Yeah. So you get to go up again. You know what you're going to get into every year. So I mean, it's one of those deals where you have to plan for that specific team, just like a lot of schools probably plan for you guys. Like, what are we going to do to balance out the McDonald's throwing program? What are we going to do to balance out their distance program? I mean, it's just one of those things that if you're coaching the right way, I mean, you should be prepared for it. And again, you guys are. Yeah. When I know anytime I go to a meet and I see McDonald on the roster, I'm like, all right, what are we going to do to compete with them today? So I'm sure your staff does the same thing. I know a lot of the coaches over there, and I know they're very good at what they do. So I know you guys are always ready to go. And clearly, we have a state champion, a 7th place finisher for the 4x4, and a 3rd place finisher for the 4x8. So I mean, you guys got it done this season. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, gotta ask you. I mean, it's got to be pretty awesome to be like Stanley Cup champions, essentially, and you finish on the podium, first, third, seventh place, and then you go on vacation. I mean, what's the to do list on vacation? Is it just relax and enjoy the sun, or you got things that are on the agenda for you? From we're gonna go eat this or what's out there for you as juniors going to be seniors, Drew?
As long as you don't say states, I'm fine.
Congratulations on states, by the way.
I'm a big boogie boarder. I like to boogie board, and I like to body surf. So I think that's kind of like my thing. And obviously, let my hair get more blonde, as I think it is getting by the sun.
Congratulations on all your success in that, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've just been relaxing at the beach and just hanging around all of our friends who are here. So it's a lot of fun.
Has it settled in? I mean, has it settled in that you're going into your final year and what things you want to accomplish obviously, Drew, you're at the top of the mountain right now. And is there more pressure for you to get on that podium in shot, or is there more pressure to stay on the podium at the top of the mountain in discus?
I know I feel like it's something I've always had to deal with. Ever since I was young, my parents always told me there's always going to be a target on your back, and just you always have to stay hungry. And what's nice about McDonald is that people give back. McDonald great from like 2011. He called me the other day on vacation. He was like, it's great that you won, but you have to stay hungry, and because there's going to be an even bigger target on your back than what you've ever had. So I just think I have to, hit the weights even harder, hit the technique even harder, and just do the same exact thing, but even harder.
When we talk to runners all season, we ask them what it's like at the end of the season to kind of finally not have to be so disciplined all the time anymore. What's one thing that you guys are doing that you can let your hair down finally because it's the end of the season? And is it a meal? Is it napping more? What's something that you're doing this week that you maybe weren't able to do for the last couple of months that you're really happy that, I can take a breath?
I'm going to say just like finally being on like summer vacation and like not having to go to practice every day. Well, for like 2 weeks until cross country starts. But like taking this 2 weeks off and just actually like enjoying it until we have to get back at it.
Yeah, and again, you got to let your body come back a little bit. Drew's has his back going. I'm sure you're beat up too from doing the mid-distance stuff. I know how grueling that is. So be a kid, enjoy the sand, enjoy the sun. I mean,
yeah.
You're not going to get that stuff in Ohio. I think it's supposed to rain.
Craig Beach.
I'm like sitting here thinking, like, man, I wish I was at the beach too.
I'm just trying to get those long blonde locks like Drew. Let them fly. Guys, thank you so much for being a part today, taking time out of your well-deserved vacations. Best to you, best to your families, and enjoy the rest of the R&R that you guys so much deserve. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks,
you
guys.
Got it. Enjoy it. We'll see you. Unbelievable. I mean, firstly, Drew has done about 1 billion of these interviews for us, and we're so grateful. He's been fun to watch grow since his freshman year, and I think both of them, both Juliana and Drew, have a lot left to give their senior years, which I'm sure they're excited for. But I mean, Sipe, you see it all the time as a teacher, as a coach. There's a lot of pressure going into your senior season because there's a lot of different navigations that you can go, I guess, past it. Put yourself in their shoes. You're on the podium the end of your junior year. You're staring down the face of summer vacation. You leave it all. I mean, you described that. I had chills when you were describing that discus final. I mean, are you thinking to yourself, are you in your mind, or you're like, okay, if I do this, I can really enjoy summer vacation. I can really come through for my team, stand on the top of that podium. And when it happens, put yourself in his shoes. Is there just a giant exhale, or is it like, okay, the adrenaline's still going?
Well, from a coaching standpoint, years ago, I coached a girl named Reagan Berkey, and we had to battle to get her on the podium there for the 800 and D1. She ended up being 6th, and I was more relieved that it happened than happy in that moment. I mean, it's one of those kids that it's an all-timer at Boardman. I work with both of her parents very closely, so it's like a daughter that I don't exactly have, and it's more those like so relieved to see that that worked out for the kid. All those moments were good for them, and it went down that way. And like track in Ohio is actually going to be shifting here too. In a few weeks or maybe in a month, the OHSAA is going to announce that we're going from 3 divisions to 5. So the landscape of the sport is going to change drastically in the state here too. So
I was 7. I mean, everything's set. And I'm being dead serious. Like, we've had this conversation a couple times. Like, why don't we just do everything in 7s instead of 3 or 5?
I think participation numbers is the reason for that, and shortage of officials. I mean, we are losing officials every year, and if you've actually gone to some of these meets, they are closer to the retirement age than they are to younger guys like we are. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's resource availability, venues that can handle it in the proper way, schools that are willing to host if they do have the venue. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables that come into play. I think 5 might even be an overkill a little bit, but yeah, I absolutely 4, if done the right way, I think would be totally fine. But I mean, I don't know. Like I heard a quote from Tressel like about a month or 2 ago, and he said if it's not broke, you should break it. Like track in Ohio. It makes sense if you think about it, because I mean, eventually what you're doing is gonna get stale, is what I think he was saying there. You know what I mean? Like you always have to readjust. You have to reflect. Even Drew, you heard him. He's a state champion. He could just sit back and lay in the lounge chair the rest of the summer. But no, he was talking about making sure his technique was better, making sure his lifting was better, doing the little things that matter. That's what champions have to do, because once you're really good, it is extremely hard to get better. Like I'm beating the drum with a couple of my athletes that are pretty darn good right now. I'm like, listen, sleep matters. What you're eating, it really matters. How much you lift. Because if you're playing soccer, everybody's doing skill drills. If you're playing volleyball, everybody's doing skill drills. Are you doing the weight room stuff? Are you doing the film study? I mean, there's a lot that goes into sports rather than just what people see when you're out there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we'll see. I'm anxious to see what these divisions look like once they make the announcement. I'm not, as a former cross country coach right now, I'm not very satisfied with the way they handled the cross country divisions, but I mean, it is what it is, and you still get to get out there and compete. So that's what you should focus on in those cases.
So we had so much success at state this year as well. I mean, we're talking to Drew and Juliana. We're going to talk to Ava Hewlett in a little bit, who also got on the podium. But can we recap a little bit on some of the really big performances that we had in Columbus and some of the great runners that also got on the podium and got big finishes?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, locally, the Chalker boy, the Ethan Bosch, was the champion in the 100-meter dash there. Andrew Donaldson from Maplewood, the state runner-up in the 800, 154. That's flying. Carson Clace from McDonald did a man double, basically. He did the mile in 4:11, which is an insanely fast time, and then came back and ran the 800 and got 5th place in that. It was hot. It was sticky. It was humid. For Carson to go 2nd and 5th place, again, another Herculean event for the McDonald Blue Devils to help them get that state championship. Joey Capizzello from McDonald was 8th place in the 3,200. Don Papagallo from Mineral Ridge was 4th in the 3,200. Pazel from Lowville was 8th place in the 400. And Drew, as we all know, blew his hamstring out there in the regional. I'm really upset. However, he gets to come back and do it again next year. Springfield boys 4x4 was state runner-up. McDonald men's 4x8 was 2nd. Maplewoods was 3rd. Drew was the state champion in the district discus, and then John Culp from Mineral Ridge was 6th place in the shot put in the D3 boys. D3 girls, Layla Hayes from LeBray, 6th place in the 200. Naomi Sheasley from McDonald was 3rd in the 1600 and then 6th in the 800. Again, that is a very difficult double. Not only did she do those 2 events, but she ran the 4x8 the night before. and she ran the 4x4 in the final as well. So again, Naomi, she put it all out there, scored a lot of points for their team. Rebecca Geist came back from injury, ended up in 5th place from Heartland Christian in the 3200. Kylie Molnar from Mineral Ridge, we had her on right before during the postseason there. She was 8th place in the 3200 as a freshman. Ava Hewlett had a couple of bronze medals in the high hurdles and the intermediate hurdles. Sammy Ratuno for Mooney was 2nd in the 300 hurdles. Mooney's girls 4x1 was 3rd. We already talked about the McDonald teams. Sloan from Southern was 6th place in long jump, and she jumped 17 feet to get 6th place. I mean, again, that's a nuke in itself. So tip of the hat to the D3 girls long jump competition. Gabby Spooner from South Range was 7th in the long jump, only a half inch behind Sloan from Southern. And then Shiley and Bundy were 4th and 3rd place in the shot and discus. So D3, most representation from the area was D3 because that's what most of the schools in the area are. D2, let's see here. We had Maggie Hall from Salem, 6th place in the mile. Julia Wheeler, Southeast, was 5th place in the 3200. Maddie Gorby from Salem, 6th place in the high jump. And then Emily Meckenbauer from Perry, freshman, shot put champion from Perry. So that's amazing. D2 boys, Josiah Hunter from Girard was 4th in the 100. Emmett Schlebach from South Range was 3rd in the 1600. And that was a phenomenal race as well. I mean, it was just like a pack of bees going around the track for a handful of laps there, and then they just opened it up. He ran a 4:12. Again, 4:12 to get 3rd place. That's an elite. That's an electric mile going on there. Maddox Roach from East Liverpool was also in that race. And listen to this too. Emmett ran 4:12 for 3rd place. Maddox ran 4:13 for 7th place. So think about how tight that one was to finish up there. Brandon Gent from Orange, 3rd place, 3200. Nashon Kalins from Orange was 2nd in the high hurdles, 4th in the 300 hurdles. Ursuline's 4x1 men's team was 8th place. East Liverpool, 3rd place in the 4x8. And then Landon Wheatley from Beaver Local, 6th place in the high jump. And Traxton Richards, state runner-up in the pole vault.
What a name.
Yeah, Traxton. Yes, I think they're brothers too. His brother was up there with him as well. And then in D1, there's only a handful of local D1 teams. Sarah Barrow, Bourbon, shot put 3rd place on her last throw. So, and that one too, she was 3rd place at 41:10.5. 2nd place was 41:11, and 8th place was 41:6 or something like that. So 2nd to 8th place was separated by less than 5 inches. So again, an outstanding competition there. The Ohio State's new track, it shelled out, man. That was electric. There were state records going down left and right. I saw a girl from Hilliard Davidson run 2:04 in the 800. Her first lap was a 58. For reference, she ran 2 laps. Most schools do not even have 400 records that are 58 seconds. So she ran her first of 2 laps faster than your school record. So for a 2:04, and that was like an absolute insane mark. If we see that get broken our lifetimes, track is that much better in the area or in the state. There were some crazy things that happened. A girl from Toledo Central Catholic became the 18th Triple Crown winner in state history. She won the 100, the 200, and the 400. What else went down that was pretty crazy? A Coldwater girl. She came within a 10th of a second of Abby Steiner's 200-meter state record. And again, Abby Steiner's like a national champion at the collegiate level, professional for Puma right now. So a girl from Coldwater, which, again, if you don't know much about Coldwater, it's just like a dot in the map on Western Ohio out there. But they produce crazy athletes from that area. So, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. The state meet never disappoints. Attendance was way up. The track was electric. I mean, and again, they put a lot of money into that facility, and from the marks that we saw down there, I mean, they did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form.
So before we get to Ava's interview here, just a quick question, because I'm having a hard time understanding why we don't see as many student athletes going to the next level for track and field or cross country for that matter. I mean, you see baseball, you see softball, you see football, you see basketball, but not oftentimes. I want to say that it's kind of pushed to the side. Is that because the ultimate goal is the Olympics and it's just so hard to get there? Or what do you think that the trouble is getting to that next level?
Well, it's there. I mean, if you want to go there, you can go find schools that will take you as a collegiate athlete. I mean, every year I end up getting like letters sent to Boardman to recruit our girls, and I have to look up where the schools are from. It's resource availability. So if like we're thinking like, oh, I have a scholarship to play football for Ohio State. Okay, almost every single guy on that roster has a scholarship. Whereas if you're looking at collegiate track, they may have, well, until they changed the rules recently to give them more scholarships. But leading up to that, you would get hey, I ran 58 seconds in the 400, and they would say, okay, well, here's $2,000 to come to school here, because they only had like 5 to 8 scholarships. And the way they did that was they would divide them up and they would pass them out to kids like that. We also take in a lot of international athletes to the United States for track and field, especially in like multi events and stuff like that. Like some of the state, Ohio, we do not offer triple jump. I mean, we have it, but they don't contest it at the OHSA tournaments. Javelin, weight throw. I mean, there are events that we don't even contest that are big in other states. So you might get overlooked because of stuff like that. And then some of our kids, Taylor Ewert, for example, she was a runaway state champion in girls distance from Beaver Creek, Ohio. She went on to run at Arkansas, and she became a race walker there. So, I mean, like one of the best distance runners the state's ever produced went somewhere else to do an event that not necessarily running, but race walking. So, I mean, like resource availability, race. I mean, have you ever seen it live?
No, I do it on a daily basis around East Palestine.
No, there's no way. You have no idea. There's like, if I find one of these videos, I'll send it out to you. But like guys running good 5K runners going up to bat against race walkers, and the race walkers absolutely dust them. So it's like insane how fast they're walking. Okay, but I'll have to find one of those videos for you and send it out your way, because it's something to see, man. Watching these people.
I'll cook them. They've never been in East Palestine. Come on, baby. There were some hills going up to that park.
And too, it's highly competitive at the collegiate levels as well. I mean, and some people don't want to fit that into their lifestyles once they get to that level. Some of the best distance runners I've seen in the state, they won their state championship and then they hung it up after their senior years too. So there's a lot of variables in it. And again, there's those college coaches, that's their livelihood. So if you get there and you have plateaued, they find ways to get you replaced in those cases as well. They're only investing $1,000 to $2,000 in you a year. I mean, you're an expendable asset in that case right there. It's totally different. College is a job in comparison. So, but they have expanded rosters and they have made more money available for these athletes, but that takes away from walk-on spots too now. So it's going to change the landscape a little bit. So we shall see.
Well, when you're talking about changing the landscape, this next guest has done so much to change the landscape of Mineral Ridge in seemingly every sport humanly possible. But lastly and lately, she is one of the best hurdlers and just overall athletes that the Rams programs has ever seen. She constantly, even walking around the mall and stores, looks for things to hurdle. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we bring in Ava Hewlett. Hi, Ava.
Hi.
Well, the last time we talked, you were talking about hurdling over things. Naturally, they gave you some things to hurdle over this year and on a good track season and field season. for the Lady Rams. Talk to us about how it went for you, how you felt it transpired.
Yeah, it was a really good season overall. I bonded with my teammates, which was always fun, and then we actually got a lot of people down to state this year, so it made it even like more enjoyable and not being by myself.
Ava, you were working on track even before basketball season really ended. I mean, you were so geared up for this season. Can you kind of compare to how it ended compared to like your expectations and how you kind of met your goals and how many goals you met and what kind of things like how do you take away this season as far as what you wanted to accomplish?
Yeah, I had a big PR from last year. I have our school record in the 100-meter hurdles. So that's a goal that I wanted. And I improved a lot from the indoor state meet to the outdoor state meet. So it was a really good season.
Which venue did you end up liking better, Columbus or Dayton?
Columbus for sure.
Yeah, it's tough to beat. It's tough to
Yeah.
beat Jesse Owens Stadium, and
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Ava, for you, I mean, leaving a legacy at Mineral Ridge is something I know is very important to you. What do you feel is the legacy that you've left to this point, and do you feel like you've accomplished everything you possibly could?
Yeah, I do. I feel fulfilled that I'm leaving Ridge the way I did. I know a lot of younger athletes like look up to me now and they respect me, and I've taught some of the younger athletes a lot of things that I hope that they can carry into their future seasons now that they're going to have to take over and lead the way. But overall, I think it was a good 4 years.
We talk about leaving legacy. We've talked about your legacy after the volleyball season. We talked about your legacy after the basketball season. But you said it yourself. This track program took a big step. You weren't alone at States anymore. You took a lot of people with you this time around. There's a lot of reasons to be excited for this Middle Ridge track program's future. How proud are you that you're able to kind of see that growth before you graduate and know that when you leave, like this track program especially, is in really good hands?
I'm very proud. I've known some of those girls, like the freshmen. I used to dance with them a long, long time ago. So just knowing that, like, they made it to the state and just being able to next year watch in the stands and see what they do the next 3 years, it'll be really cool.
We saw
Yeah.
Drew and Juliana celebrate earlier by going down to the beach. How did you celebrate the end of your season?
Well, we stayed the day like of the Saturday. I went shopping, so my mom bought me some new outfits.
Naturally.
So.
Naturally. Couldn't have guessed that one. Sorry, Sipe.
Oh, all good. So, like you have some standout freshmen coming back too. What's your best advice you have for them as they're embarking on the same kind of track career that you developed there?
Yeah, just to work hard and not burn yourself out. I know freshman year, like I was doing a lot and I ended up like breaking my foot. So just like make sure you're doing enough to recover and like getting the work in that you want to have for off season, but also not pushing your body too much because sometimes rest is more.
Absolutely.
Ava, one of the things that I don't think we've talked about is burnout and mental fatigue, and you being a constant athlete and student athlete, keeping your grades up in the classroom and keeping it, I mean, well above the line of average in whatever floor surface you're on. How did you battle it? Did you have moments during your 4 years that you battled fatigue or battled burnout, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, it definitely is a step back, like when you hit that like mental block or just like you're physically burnt out, but you just have to take your time, catch up on your rest. I know I like had trouble going to bed at an early time, so that was something that I always struggled with. But in the summer, especially too, getting rest, but also making sure that you're going to your summer scrimmages for basketball, playing volleyball, and working out for track. So it is a lot, but as long as you like have a plan and keep organized, that you should be good.
Well, for the first time in your career, you don't have to go to those open gyms for basketball.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to volleyball practice this week. What's that like for you to kind of have a little bit of more of a freed up summer a little bit?
It's a little weird. Some of my friends are like going to their basketball scrimmages. I'm just like kind of sad that that's not me, but also like it's relieving to not have to like worry about practice for once. But I'm taking a few weeks off, and then I'm gonna start doing my workouts for college. So that'll keep me something to do. But it's kind of nice not having to worry about any practices.
So what is the plan for you for next year?
I'm gonna run track and field at Wright State University. So,
D1, let's go.
yeah.
Naturally, when I ask the question of why we don't have more kids going to the next level, here comes Ava Hewlett saying, "Hey, I'm running.
Yeah.
Here's my hand. How about me?" That's a dumb question, DJ. How about that?
In all
Yeah.
seriousness, Ava, talk about that decision and what it took to kind of get to Wright State. I know the last time we talked to you, it was still up in the air on what you wanted to do, and you really weren't settled on a sport yet, but you obviously picked running at Wright State as your destination. What led to that decision, and what made Wright State feel like home?
Yeah, well, up until I would say end of sophomore year, I was for sure that I wanted to play volleyball in college. And then that kind of changed. I always like loved track, but I really started to like want to get like a lot better in it. And then this like past season, my volleyball coach still wanted me to kind of play out in college. So I was still unsure a little bit, but deep down I kind of knew I wanted to run track. And I also wanted to go far away, well, far enough away. I didn't want to be close to home. So, Wright State, the coach reached out to me, and I went there and I visited, and I really liked the school. It was in a nice area. It's around a lot of things, and I'll be able to travel to nice schools and compete, and I'm excited.
That's one of the big things. Do they travel well? And like, of course, do they have the major for you and all those things? But that's
Yeah.
great that you found a fit there at the next level. Wright State's got a nice program. I'm looking forward to seeing you do some good things there for sure.
Thank you.
Ava, we can't thank you enough for what you've been able to really inspire young ladies with over the years. You have certainly left a legacy, as we alluded to earlier. Um, for you, was there any stone at Mineral Ridge left unturned that you really wanted to do that you haven't done that maybe we can help you with in your final weeks as a Ram?
I don't know. There is a few things that I fell up a little short on, but at the end of the day, I worked at my hardest and I tried my best and I accomplished a lot, and I'm forever grateful for everything. So,
I think that's a good site. Yesterday, me and DJ had this long conversation about how if you're not a champion, you didn't fail necessarily. And obviously, you had the goal of you wanted to win state. That was the goal going down there. You finished third in the 100, third in the 300. How did you kind of compensate with, okay, I fell a little bit short, but I'm also, like you just said, you accomplished so much, and by no means was your career at all or your season at all a failure. How did you kind of grapple with that mentally, coming off of that state meet?
yeah, I PR'd in the 300 hurdles. I kind of stuttered on the last hurdle, and I think that took my second place away, but I mean, it was a good race and I had good competition there, and it was just like overall the support from the community, everyone that came down to support me. I had family fly in to come watch me run, and I was just really trying to be focused at the state meet, but also enjoying and being present in the moment because it was my last one. So,
And that's a good attitude to have. You made it there. You did something that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other kids could not do. Only two kids in D3 were able to beat you. I mean, it's an accomplishment in itself. I mean, absolutely great attitude to have about it. I mean, it's one of those things where, if you can't get gold, you got to get silver. You can't get silver, that bronze still fits pretty nicely there. So again, it's totally different than team sports because again, you can still have those big time accomplishments, even though you didn't get first or whatever. It's still an accomplishment to get on that podium. You still
yeah.
get the picture. You're on the podium picture in the program the next year. People get to see you. I mean, it's a big deal. And again, not many people get to do what you did. You ran extremely fast, and again, you're continuing your career right state. So nothing at all to hang your head over.
Thank you.
Ava, we can't thank you enough for what you've done over the years and who you've become and what you've kind of laid out for everybody at Mineral Ridge. You are the gold standard. No matter what place you're on the podium, you're number one in our books here at YSN. Thank you so much for everything that you've done, how you've contributed to sports in our area. And we wish you all the best in the future. We certainly will be following you every step of the way. Congratulations, kiddo.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything, all you've done for me for the past 4 years. You supported me a lot and gave me a lot of honors. So thank you so much.
You're the best. Ladies and gentlemen, from Mineral Ridge and now headed to Wright State, Ava Hewlett. Congratulations, Ava. We're proud of you.
Thank you.
You got it. There she goes. Man, that's tough because I mean, you and I talked about it yesterday with, some of these kids. It's the last time, potentially we interview them. And she's certainly Ava, one that we've rooted for a long time. And I can't, I mean, I'm not there yet because my kids are 7 and 3, but I have to imagine it's kind of like when your kids leave for school and you're like, okay, like, they're there, they're in good hands, but you also know like it's never going to be the same. Like the next time we talk to Ava, she's like Mineral Ridge is part of her past as opposed to what she's, trying to develop as part of her present and future. So Sipe, I mean, you go through this every year with seniors.
Yeah.
Is this natural? I feel like I'm like getting emotional over these kids.
It's different every year because different classes have different personalities. There's I've coached kids that probably took time off of my life. And I was like, oh, well, that was your last race. No, all jokes aside, but I mean, there's kids that are very challenging to coach. And then there's kids that you just love them to death and you never want to see them go. Like a totally raw personal story. Two of my like all timers were on our 4x4 this year. And, we were at the regional semifinals, and I was emotional as the gun was going off. I was just, this is it. This could be the last time I see these two run. This is the last time I'm going to coach them. This is the last time I get to compete. And our freshman leg, Mia Dubel, just burned it. She kept us in the race. Olivia Brady was our sophomore second leg, and she put us all the way into the race. And then my two seniors, Abby Mihawk and Gina DiNapoli, they took it home and they got another day of free track at the regional final the next day. So like that emotional moment, that was it for me. Like I was teared up, ready to roll, but I didn't want to see them end like that. And they didn't. And we got to run on Friday and everything was fantastic. That's the way I wanted to see them going out, being on the regional podium, not going down in a regional semifinal or anything like that. So, it's tough to see kids go, but you also, as a coach, as a teacher or an administrator, you play a pivotal role in these kids' lives. You're not just creating a 400 runner, you're making a solid young man or a solid young woman, and you had something to do with making those kids like positive contributors to society. And I'm really happy that I get to have the opportunity to do that for so many kids as a teacher and a coach. So, it's just how you got to look at it. Like there's kids are going to do some great stuff for society after they leave. So yeah, Mineral Ridge is her past, but it sounds like she's going to do some great things over at Wright State. And all the kids from Boardman, they do wonderful things. They head off to college, and I always like getting those updates from them whenever we get the opportunity to. So it's always
good. Hat tips to all those coaches out there who are doing it the right way. We're appreciative. Certainly, Sipe, you, my friend, are one that always does it the right way. One that we are so blessed to have each and every Wednesday. And without you, my friend, our track coverage is little to none, as well as cross country. People don't realize how big of a piece you are here at YSN. Mm-hmm. We cannot thank you enough. The check that we write cannot be big enough to you, my friend. So on behalf of all of us at YSN, everybody that tunes in on Wednesdays, man, thank you a million times over. I know I don't get to spend as much time with you as I want, but it's a joy to watch you each and every Wednesday, and an honor that you take my seat on this show. So thank you.
No, I appreciate it, man. And then it's for kids. We're in the business of kids, and like all these kids, they deserve their time in the sun, just like it's not mainstream, like, you know, your football, basketball, your diamond sports. But these kids are every bit as impressive as any of those other kids are as well. Um, if you look back to like Olympic coverage, track and field is one of the top 3 every summer Olympics for coverage. Swimming, gymnastics, track, gold medal basketball game, gold medal soccer game. Those are the 5 highest covered events for Olympics. So these kids deserve it. They work their tails off. I know how the best of the best coaches beat these kids up. So it's a very big deal that they get their time out there.
From a list of champions to the honeydew list, ladies and gentlemen, we close the book on 2025's coverage of track and field with head coach Rick Seipert. Seip, thank you very much. We appreciate
You're very welcome,
baby.
guys. Have a good off season, and I'm sure I'll see you guys during football plenty.
You know better that there is no off season.
There
There
is
is no
no-
off season. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. Thank you.